We could have gone back to normal by now, but we haven't, because we actually can't. Things are forever changed. But to the badass, this means opportunity. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast.
Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams.
Welcome, friend. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to week 2 of my COVID voice, hopefully the last one. Listen, think about everything that's changed since this pandemic. People have seen, for real, what a balanced life could look like. People are learning that the traditional economy is not only unreliable and unstable, but the economy as we know it is never going to be the same. People have seen that the systems and rules that we were brought up with were probably nonsense. And because they've seen it, not just read about it, but they've lived through it, they know that things could be different in the future. Let's talk about it. But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works. Relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals that create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. If you love the show, tell your friends. Okay, so now that we've seen all that stuff, now that people know firsthand that a different future is possible, think about what happens when the system refuses to acknowledge it and respond to those changing forces. You see what happens. It's been happening for the past year or so. People quit, even if they have nothing to fall back on. They're just like, I'm done. I'm out. Forget it. I'll figure it out later. They'll divest themselves. They'll sacrifice a decades-long career to start over, to do something more meaningful, more fulfilling. They'll realign themselves to a passion project. They'll suddenly, for the first time in their lives, find the courage to do what they've always wanted to do. They're basically saying, no more, never again, not another day. I want something different. And I believe for the first time that I can have it, that I deserve it, that I don't require your permission, that it's available to me. And when people start finding those levels of courage and they're tasting it for the first time, and they're willing to test it for the first time, you are on the brink of a revolution. We've seen it before, history's tried to teach us, and we're about to see it again. And at the same time, the forces that have been evolving for the past couple of years, maybe even a half decade or more, continue to unfold. So we have people rushing to tech careers, not necessarily a bad thing, including our treasured Scrum Master and Agile Coach roles, so the market saturates. Now, what's this going to mean for badasses out there? As you know, and I've been saying for months, if not years, that Agile in tech is becoming narrower and narrower as a career, as an area of focus for us. I think a window has just opened. Can you feel it? Not a window like Bitcoin or NFTs. These are things that are real, irreversible shifts. They're good ones. Now that means there's opportunities for you. I don't care if your primary driver is a promotion, a raise, a new job, a new company, new career, a switch to independent work, or if you just want to serve better and bigger with these skills that you found and you love. Now's your time. You have to seize this open window, though. See, because right now, the pain is loud and clear. It's everywhere. It's in the media, it's in the stats, it's top of every CEO's mind. How do I get and retain the best talent and keep them from burning out and leaving and creating a skills shortage and a crisis in my organization? So the pain is loud and clear, but most organizations are too slow to respond to it, or they don't know what to do. That is where you come in. That's the window. There's the opportunity. When supply can't meet demand, this is where you go capitalize. But I'm not going to lie, this will take courage. You are going to have to do different. You're going to have to be different. You're going to have to practice courage. You're going to have to be a badass. Now, the easiest way forward is just stick your chest out, my friends. Go boldly through the aisles. Ask anyone you know what their pain point is, because I guarantee it's not software. So first things first, you got to open up your network. You're not just talking to your product owner. You're meeting heads of lines of business. You're meeting directors and VPs and maybe even C-level individuals. And you're finding out what they care about. It's the old question, what keeps you up at night? Listen carefully now for common threads. You're going to hear a lot right now, middle of 2023, about people, finding good people, keeping good people, motivating good people, but most importantly, I believe the thing you're going to hear about is empowering people. What they want is for all of these people to go and do the work now. If you've been in shortfall for 6 months and you finally found some good people and hired some good people, you want to deploy them. You want to get back as a leader, as a manager, someone who's on the hook for results for the organization. These folks need to get back to delivering results, impressing the shareholders, making the numbers. That's how business runs. It's how it's always run. So they need folks to make decisions, to take action, to be courageous. I've been hearing people squawking in my ear about this shortfall for years now, even before the pandemic started. But it's now at crisis level. People are ever more scared, frightened, unsure of what to do. And in many cases, they've stopped caring because they don't feel cared for. Now, your next step, once you've heard these things, and maybe you'll hear the same things I've heard, or maybe you'll hear something completely new. You could be in a different industry or vertical than I'm usually in. So you might hear different problems, different complaints, whatever they are. Sit at home in the morning, sit at home at night, on the train before the sun comes up, however you do it, whenever you do it, get a pen and paper and start thinking about those problems. Get obsessed. And as you're thinking about them, read more, study more, research more. Look for trends, look for common threads, look for thought leaders, look for great ideas, but most important, come up with solutions. How does what you know, this is the important part, so listen carefully. How does what you know about Scrum and Agile, how does what you believe in your soul about Scrum and Agile have the potential to help with this problem? It's critical that you don't think inside your existing box. Take the greatest hits package from your existing knowledge, experience, wisdom, and think about what you could be doing differently to help solve these problems. Because listen, if the solution was easy, if the solution were evident, everyone would be doing it. And this wouldn't be a grand opportunity. You must ideate, hypothesize. You must draw from existing fields of knowledge, different fields of knowledge, bring them together to create inspiring and preferably simple solutions to problems. See, one of the things we struggle from is that people love complexity. People love complexity because it protects our work. I saw a great interview with Orson Welles, which I know it makes me sound like an old guy, but Orson Welles was the guy who directed and acted in Citizen Kane, famous director, now long gone. And someone asked him, you must have had people telling you, you can't do this. You can't just come up as an actor and make this film and expect it to be good. What kept you going? And he said, what kept me going was dumb ignorance. I was oblivious to the fact that this might not work. I simply knew that whatever I came up with, either it would work or I would refine it until it did. And then he said something really clever. He said, everything you need to know about the movie business, you can learn in a day and a half. People make it complicated because their jobs depend on it. They're trying to protect what they do by making it sound harder than it is. And he says, and I can say this with authority because I worked with the best cameraman in the business at the time, and he showed me everything I needed to know in a day and a half. That wisdom from almost 50 years ago has never been more true. How much of Scrum and Agile do we complicate and try to make into a science so that we can keep other people from seeing exactly how simple and graceful and easy it is to apply to any problem domain? That, my friends, is a shame, and it ought to be a crime. You do differently. Hold the banner of the badass high. loud and proud. Remember the rules of the badass. Be visionary. Don't ask for permission. Do the thing that has never been done before. Seek the hard challenges. Be prepared that no one will understand you. Nobody will get you, and people will actively hate and try to slow you down. You laugh in the face of danger. You, like any great innovator, will stare into this giant chasm of opportunity to solve one of the most important problems in our lifetime. And you will go first. That's simply what a badass does. And if you can't do them yet, if you can't figure these out, then just hire me. Be bold. Let's go, my friend. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I thank you for tuning in again this week. As always, you can find me at badassagile.com, on Instagram at badassagile, and don't forget to check out the Facebook Badass Agile Listener Lounge. Links for everything you need are in the show notes below. I look forward to next time, and until then, stay badass.